Right now, they're telling us what to do big time in the area of what? Sex. They are saying it being a scattersexual is the greatest thing that was ever thought up, and that black people should participate in it. And black people everywhere are nodding, just like we do anytime if something is propagandized on a large scale. Yeah, that makes sense. That's what that's what we need. We don't need no better housing. We don't need jobs. We need new forms of sexuality. As many of them as we can get. How many you got there, boss? Well, let's see. We can start out maybe 3 or 4 different types, and then we can expand as we go along. We can probably come up with maybe 30 or 40 different types. That's what you think black people need, right? Yeah. That sounds like that's pretty good. We like sex, and so the more different types of sex we got, the better that should be. Ain't that right, boss? Yeah, boy, that's right. Now you got it. Forget about doing anything else. Put that on the back burner right now. That's what they have black people doing all over the world right now. All right? And if it's not that, it's some other kind of nonsense, like, another tattoo, another slogan, another hairdo. They say that's good enough for you people. You don't need nothing else. You don't need to think about nothing else. So in answer to the person's question, we need a complete constructive code. We need to get rid of what we call black culture as it is now and as it has been. Why? For a very logical reason. What is culture? Culture is nothing but the sum total of what you do. And black culture has failed black people. What we do has failed black people. So we need to do something different. So the caller is correct about that, but that's something different as what? Come up with a constructive code. That's guaranteed to be 2 things, successful and constructive. Now, the white supremacists will help us do anything that doesn't make sense. Yeah, anytime they think of something, and they think of things all the time because they try it. They do a lot of things that don't make sense, but they can afford to. But anytime the white supremacists come up with anything that is absolutely stupid, they say, hey, this is just right for black people. And so they look at each other sometimes and they say, well, you don't think they'll go for this, do you? Say black people will go for anything stupid anytime because they love stupidity. If it's something that makes sense, they run like hell away from it because we have trained them to be that way. So in answer to the gentleman's question, we need a code, an individual code, and I've tried to write it in my books, that is directed to black people that will help us to always think, speak, and act in the most constructive manner. And in running a few tests on it, a lot of people have said that it has helped them. And I think if we continue on that, everything in the universe is either constructive or non-constructive. There's no such thing as in between. We think there's a whole lot in between that. There's nothing in between that. Every move that you make and every word that you say is either going to have a constructive effect or a non-constructive effect. So we have to even orchestrate our language, codify our language, so that it always has a constructive effect when we speak to someone rather than a non-constructive effect. Otherwise, we should learn to be something that we're definitely not used to, be the most silent people on earth without being dead.